If you can place my accent, you probably know that I'm from the Southern Hemisphere, which means we have just passed the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Also, if you're familiar with the way my voice usually sounds, you can probably tell that we are also in the middle of cold and flu season. Where I live, we don't get a lot of seasonality. It's pretty mild climate. So even at winter's zenith, it was still pretty okay to be outside drawing and wandering around, which is what me and my family did for the winter solstice. So a lot of the traditional rituals around the winter solstice kind of focus on the returning of the light, kind of gathering it all together, ready to head into the next seasonal cycle, thinking about what's in the year ahead. It's kind of weird in the Southern Hemisphere though, because this falls in the middle of the year. But it is also kind of a good opportunity to take stock on what you had hoped for the year and what you had achieved, which I'll get into in a little bit more detail later. One thing we did do during the day of the winter solstice was to go out and see what the more productive and practical members of my family were doing, which was doing some fencing down at the creek. Me and my two little offsiders did really useful things like wearing a matching jumper to the sky, carrying a huge Nerf gun down the paddock, and embracing the cattle like their pets.
It's okay. All right, let's go.
This is Buddy. He is my daughter's favourite thing in the world and my sister's rescue dog. He used to be a farm dog that belonged to an old farmer, and he now lives with two little girls and leads a very spoiled life. But he does like to return to his roots as a farm dog every now and then. So I did follow up on this whole reflecting on what you want for the year ahead and seeing how you're going with your resolutions for the year. A little bit of a halfway mark update. I found my resolutions for the start of this year. I had a bunch that were kind of vibes, general feelings of resolution, and I had a bunch that were tangible. A little bit sad to report that I was able to strike off one from the tangible list. I'm doing pretty good on the vibes list. The vibes are being achieved, but on the tangibles, not really translating so well. But I managed to strike one off, which was to redo my website, something I've been putting off for probably about 5 years, so that's good. I made a little list of ones that were actually in my control, really, and thought about what the steps and actions were that I could do to work towards some of the more tangible goals. Also, I wanted to keep this in my filming. This is a very cute interruption. So anyway, as for reflecting on like half-yearly progress, I feel I'm going into the second half strong. I feel like I've made the preparations that I could pull through on some of those tangibles that I have yet to address. I'll share some of the ones that I feel comfortable sharing and not too embarrassed about. They are things like running 10 kilometers, something that has been on my resolutions list for about 5 years. So hopefully sharing that here will make me feel a little bit accountable, and I can say to you at the end of this year that it's been done. I've made it. I made it to 8. That's the furthest I've got in my running distances. So I really want to get to 10 just because I like me a round number. Other things are like reading at least 12 books, at least one book a month. I used to be a huge avid reader, and since having kids just cannot find the time. So that's been a really important one that I've added. And I'm making good ground. I'm up to 7 and it's not even July yet. So if we keep on track, we can make it to that one, getting striked off. There are other ones related to art goals, which are things like booking an exhibition or organising and landing a residency or publishing something, whether by myself or through someone else. So some of these things are in my control and other things are kind of way out of my control, but they're still nice to think about. But I did really find that it was a nice practice to check back in with what I was wanting at the start of the year and how that's changed over the past 6 months. Hasn't changed too much. I think I'm just going to redouble my intention and my focus, my determination, and try and get to that 10K. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this winter solstice journey. Did you have anything that you were trying to achieve this year? How are you going? Are you on track? I'd love to hear what you had hoped for and whether you've achieved it, whether you think you will. Are you making up new things to be hopeful for? Oh, while we were visiting the fences down at the creek, we found a little fox or cat leftovers, which is really sad, but beautiful feathers. Anyway, I hope your year is going well at this halfway mark and that you're diving into the new season with a lot of renewed energy and hopefulness and not having a head cold.